this is Mike Moshek, Cadwalader. Thanks for tuning in to Fund Finance Friday Industry Conversations. With COVID, of course, the Fund Finance Association had to pivot on the Asia and European conferences. And now that the game plan's coming together, I've asked Nick Mitra to join us today to kind of brief everybody on what the format and structure of the virtual event's going to look like. Nick, how you doing? Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Mike. Always glad to be here.
Yeah. So tell everybody kind of when the event's going to be, what the format's going to look like, and the other logistical details that folks are going to want to know.
Sure. So the basics of the event are we run from November 16th, Monday, to November 20th, Friday. It's going to run, we're going to devote 2 days to London, followed by 2 days to Asia, followed by a global content symposium. What's really exciting about this from our perspective, the FFA, yes, we are disrupted because we are not able to hold our in-person events, and that obviously has some impact, but it opens up all other possibilities for our members. You can see someone who couldn't travel to Asia now can get a preview of Asia content and see it in depth. You can go to the London conference, and you also get global all in 1 week. And the way we've set up the schedule is it allows you to work during the morning, clear your emails, and attend and do whatever you need to in the morning. Then after that, from roughly 1 o'clock, each day it'll go right through to about 5, 6 o'clock. So
and is that local time for each of the regions?
That's correct. It is local time for each of the regions. So London, 1 o'clock, and then Hong Kong, Singapore, 1 o'clock. Again, the beauty of this is because some of these sessions will be live and also recorded. If you miss the live recording, you can always go back to the recording and come back and catch up on anything that you missed.
That's great. So U.S. watchers can watch the Asia conference as an example, on a recorded basis.
That's correct. That's correct. Your ticket will be good for the entire week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of tickets, like how is the sponsorship going to work? Some folks were already sponsoring for the year for 2020. Some folks haven't signed up their sponsorship yet. Like, how is all that going to work?
Sure. So we for the folks who had already signed up, a portion of the sponsorship would apply to this year and another portion applied to next year. For the persons who have not signed up or the companies that have not signed up, they are able to sponsor. There's a new sponsorship package, which is available on the FFA website that you can take a look at. That'll show you the different sponsorship levels. The idea, again, is that regardless of what sponsorship level you come in, you do get access to the full week of programming.
Yeah. And what about individual tickets? How much are they going to cost?
Sure. Until October 16th, the tickets will cost, the early bird pricing is $495 US. After October 16th, it goes to $595 US.
Okay, great. So good. A lot of people should be able to get to join this year. Pros and cons of moving to virtual, I guess.
That's right. I mean, look, it gives us a chance, as I mentioned, you have the opportunity to see content across the geographies, which you might not have a chance to do that before. You also get to visit sponsor booths where you can interact with local folks in each of the jurisdictions, which you might not have been able to do had you not attended the conference in person. And there's also going to be some version of a happy hour, which we're working through. So you still continue to get the networking benefits that a lot of our members have said they come to our conferences for.
Well, Nick, there are obviously things that we give up by not having an in-person event, but there got to be some additional pros as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mike. In fact, one of the things I'm personally most excited about when we go to one of the in-person events, and yes, I love the networking, I love meeting people and talking to them, but one of the things I had to give up was picking tracks to go to. You either went to one track and then you missed the other two, and so you made choices and you missed content. Now you don't have that issue. You can go sit through one track, then go back and see the recording of the next track, or see the recording for all of them. The other advantage, and I think I've touched upon this before, you get to see not just Asia, but you also see Europe and see global, which is something that was never available before. And the last point there is, given it's a virtual format, it opens up more possibility as to how we're going to present the content. We could certainly have a panel like we've done before, and that's very likely one of the ways, but we can also do more debates, we can do more fireside chats, because you have more flexibility in the virtual world.
So Nick, there's not a ton of time between now and then. When do you expect the content and the agenda to be available for everybody?
Sure, we would expect, you're right, it is a pretty compressed time frame. So we expect about 2 weeks, we should have a pretty almost formal agenda for folks to see what we're going to be covering. So give us about 2 weeks.
Great. And if folks want to get involved, are there opportunities for volunteers?
Sure. Look, this is, again, a new initiative for us. So all the help that we can get is very much appreciated. And it is very much a community effort every time we pull off one of these conferences. So here are a couple of areas where if folks want to step up. We are looking for keynotes for our conferences, always trying to make it relevant and to our business and regional to our business as well. So relevant regional speakers, please send us names for those. Very much appreciated. They'll be vetted through the content and marketing committees to see how they fit in. That's certainly one place. In addition, we also have a number of FFA initiatives which are always picking up steam, especially in a virtual world. So things such as the FFA Next Generation is picking up. Diversity has been a very hot topic lately. The mentorship program is also launching. And of course, we always have the Women in Fund Finance. So in any of those areas, if you want to get involved, please raise your hand and reach out to one of us.
Yeah, well, great. Well, I'm sure the event's going to be terrific. We'll flash up here on the screen the website for folks if they want to register. Thanks a lot for all you do for the Fund Finance Association and for the industry.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
The material and information contained in the podcast is for general informational purposes only. Any use of the audio within this podcast without the express consent of Cadwalader is prohibited. Quotes from this podcast may not be used without the express permission of the speaker.